Good morning. It's 7 a.m. A quorum is present, and the meeting's been duly called and posted in the time and manner required by law. I'll call this July 13th, 2023 regular meeting and workshop of the Board of Trustees of the Lubbock Independent School District to order. At this time, it's my pleasure to invite David Sparkman, the Area Director of the South Plains Fellowship of Christian Athletes, to the podium to open our meeting with a prayer and to lead the audience in the pledges to the American and Texas flags. Good morning, David.
Thank you all.
Glad you're with us.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Let us pray. Father, it is from you that we receive our gifts, our resources. Father, I pray that for those who work in Lubbock School District, those who send kids to Lubbock School District, they will find a home here. They will find comfort. They will find your protection. God, I pray over the teachers as they use their gifts that you've given to them to instruct the students and your children. I pray over the administration that they would use the gifts you've given them to lead and to have great discernment. I pray for the wisdom that you grant us. I pray that there will be wisdom that will precede any situation that would prevent tragedy. Father, I also pray, God, for the encouragement that schools give our children, that give our community. I pray that this school district will have that ability to pour into young people. I pray that they will be able to take young people, they will take children, they will take them and help them to be transformed into the adults that you have for them to be. God, protect Lubbock School District. Put your hedge of protection around them. And lastly, Lord, I pray that every student that walks through the halls of these schools will find a friend. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. Pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you.
Thank you, cousin. David, thank you for being here. We're all very thankful for the work that FCA does in and around our schools every day. Thank you so much. It is my great pleasure this morning to invite Aaron Gregg, our Executive Director of Communications and Community Relations, to the podium to begin our meeting so that we can recognize someone that's very important to all of us for more than one job well done.
President Brady, thank you. Dr. Rowland, Board of Trustees, it's always a pleasure standing in front of you. We asked a few friends to join us this morning for this special recognition. So first, we're going to give them a few minutes to come in.
You might need to take that out.
Now that we're all here, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to recognize our superintendent, Dr. Kathy Rollo, as the 2023 Region 17 Superintendent of the Year. Dr. Rollo's exemplary leadership and unwavering commitment to students, families, and staff make her a deserving candidate for this prestigious recognition. Throughout her 5 years of leading Lubbock ISD, Dr. Rollo has proven herself as a bold innovator with an intense focus on her 3 pillars: valuing data, developing leaders, and loving people, and the district's mission of nurturing, developing, and inspiring every child every day. Her selection as the Region 17 Superintendent of the Year qualifies her to advance to the regional interviews and confirms her eligibility for the 2023 Texas Superintendent of the Year Award. 4 state finalists will be announced at the end of August, and the Texas Superintendent of the Year will be unveiled in September. Since 1984, the Superintendent of the Year Award program has honored outstanding administrators for achievement and excellence in public school administration. Dr. Rollo has demonstrated exceptional leadership in her time as superintendent and consistently pushes for excellence in Lubbock ISD. As the Texas Association of School Boards offers this honorable recognition for superintendents who exemplify outstanding leadership and achievement, to present Dr. Rollo as one who teaches, leads, and lives excellence while also focused on excellence for future generations seems wonderfully appropriate. Her contributions to her profession, the field of education, the Lubbock community, and beyond, and every child every day in Lubbock ISD make her an exceptional candidate for the 2023 Texas Superintendent of the Year Award. Dr. Rollo, congratulations from all of us in your Lubbock ISD family.
Well, thank you all. I was absolutely not expecting this. This was kind of put on the agenda while I was out of town last week. But I am so incredibly grateful to be nominated for this by this amazing board. So thank you. And you are all here at 7 a.m. So thank you. And I didn't expect my family to be here. So you all surprised me. Thank you so much. And I hope to represent Lubbock ISD in Region 17 at the next level, and just thank you all so much for your love and support and for being on this journey alongside me. We're doing great things for kids.
Thank you, Dr. Rollo. At this time, I will open up the floor for trustee comments.
Yeah, I'll start. First off, congratulations, Kathy. I've said this multiple times even before I had a chance to serve with you in this capacity, but your job really is 24/7. I mean, you're going every day, all day, and I don't know how you do it, to be totally honest, but I'm very appreciative, and this goes for the other staff too, so just very appreciative of what everyone's doing for the students in the community here in Lubbock, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris.
You know, I've known you long before this position, and it's been a joy getting to know you over the years and then specifically work with you. And, you know, you're a selfless person, and I wish everybody got to see your heart behind decisions and the process that you go through to make those, and the care that you have for this community is immeasurable. And I could not think of a person more qualified than yourself, and I'm pleased to be on this journey with you. And while I may not be the cheerleader you are, I'm right there with you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Beth.
Dr. Rollo, I think, I know it's Superintendent of the Year, but I would nominate you for Human of the Year. You're a wonderful teacher, you're a wonderful leader, and you've touched lives throughout this community, and you've changed lives throughout this community. So thank you for all you've done. Congratulations.
Thank you, Beth.
I'd say first and foremost to Mr. and Mrs. Kennison, thank you for blessing us with the gift of your daughter, raising her in a way that's exemplary in the spirit of the Lord, and just giving her everything that she needs to be successful. The fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. It's very obvious. You produced good fruit. And to Robert, likewise, thank you for being a confidant with her been a friend and ally to this board as well, been a prayer partner, and a very wise guy, not a wise guy like wise guy. Both.
Like casino wise?
But a great friend. Wow, to the brothers and the brides. Yeah, you guys are so awesome to allow us to have the privilege to have the time and to be part of the family and steal your mom away on a lot of occasions. But thank each and every one of you for investing. And of course, Kathy, many prayers and many private conversations and things like that. We may not see eye to eye on some things, but it's okay to work in this labor of love and be confrontational, not confrontational, and continue to do great things. And I'm honored to have had these moments and these chapters of my life to spend it with you and this board and to make a difference. We are difference makers, and I believe we've done that. Thank you for all that you've done.
Thank you, Bill.
Kathy, I want to, first of all, in the interest of time, I want to adopt almost all the comments. Certainly all of them from the board and almost all of them from Erin. The one thing that she said that just can't be right is that it's only been 5 years. Some of those years that we were in these roles together, I think at least 2 or 3 of them certainly qualify as more than 1 year. The COVID years were challenging. And on the one hand, we're all ready to not talk about it anymore. On the other hand, you stood with us in making some decisions that were not popular and were not common and were for the best interests of our students. And at this point, it's easy to look back on those and say, oh yeah, that was the right thing to do. Oh yeah, kids need to be in school. Nobody was saying that when we started saying that. And we couldn't have done that without your courage. It's easy for us to have courage a couple of Thursdays a month. You have to bring that courage to bear every day. And I am honored to have been a part of that and so many other successes with you these past 5, if Erin says so, years. And just the best thing that I have done, and I know that Bill feels this way, we were both here at the time, the best thing that we have done is recommending you for this job.
Thank you, Zach.
At this point, I'm going to take a recess. Normally it says for pictures. I'm going to take a recess for Kleenexes for those of us that need to wipe our eyes. And then for some folks that want to take some pictures, we're going to do some of that. And then we'll come back to our agenda to item 4. It is 7:13 a.m. and we will stand in recess until probably 7:25, 7:30. It is 7:29 a.m. and we are back in session. Moving into item 4 on our agenda, citizen comments. The next order of business is citizen comments. Before we begin, I'd like to review the provisions in board policy governing the procedures for public participation as reflected in BED Local. The audience shall not enter into discussion or debate on the matters being considered by the board. I will remind members of the board that the citizen comment section of our board meeting is for the purpose of listening to patrons, but we are not allowed to comment or debate on issues that are not posted. No presentation shall exceed 3 minutes, and a timer will go off at the completion of that time. I would ask that you conclude your comments within the time limit allowed. We had one commenter sign up today to address the board. As I call your name, please come to the podium and state your name and address and begin your comments. Lauren Smith. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning, everybody.
Always great to see you.
Same to you. Lauren Smith, 7005 22nd Street, Lubbock, Texas, 79407. Board of Trustees, Dr. Rollo. My name is Lauren Smith, and I'm the president of the Lubbock Educators Association, local affiliate of the Texas State Teachers Association, representing over 1,300 members. I'd like to begin by congratulating Dr. Rollo on being selected as the Region 17 Superintendent of the Year. I certainly appreciate our working relationship we've had since you became superintendent 5 years ago. LEA wishes you the very best of luck as you move on to compete at the state level. During the 22-23 school year, you approved an increase in the ESSER retention stipend so that the 1-2-3 plan became a 1-3-3 plan. Additionally, last summer you spoke with me about the best time to provide these payments, and I informed you that LEA believed the sooner you could get money to the employees is better due to inflation. It was agreed upon that the payments would occur in September and December. Both the increased payment amounts as well as the September and December payments were much appreciated by the staff during this last school year. Today, LEA is asking you to again make those payments in September and December for the 23-24 school year. Inflation continues to be an issue, especially as we saw gas prices fluctuate almost 60 cents a gallon just last week. By providing the ESSER payments in September and December, you will provide all employees with extra funds as the school year starts and as we approach the Christmas holidays when money is needed the most and teachers are putting that money back in their classrooms. LEA also asked that if there's any leftover ESSER money at the end of the school year, that it be divided among employees for a third payment in June. Last month, Cooper ISD gave a 3% raise to all employees and contributed additional funds to employee health insurance. Mr. Bryant told the school board that that if the legislature ends up approving more money for schools during a special session, he has another compensation plan he will ask the board to approve that will make them among the highest paid district in the West Texas region. Friendship is also considering pay raises soon, and based on previous years, we fully expect them to provide raises this year. As we reviewed open records requests of resignations and retirements, as well as new employees from Lubbock, Cooper, and Friendship, we noticed there's a lot of movement, especially of Lubbock ISD veteran employees. At the end of June, almost 700 employees had resigned or retired from Lubbock ISD this year, and many of those same employees are showing up on new hire lists in Friendship and Cooper. While money isn't everything when choosing a district to work for, it is a big contributing factor, and we must make sure that Lubbock ISD is the highest paying district in order to attract and, more importantly, retain our employees. We are hopeful that the legislature will provide more funding to public schools during the upcoming special session so that you'll be able to provide pay raises for all employees. However, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said on Tuesday that the special session for school funding is not expected until October. We cannot wait on them, which is why I strongly encourage you to get money in the hands of employees sooner rather than later by providing the ESSER payments in September and December. Thank you for all you do for our district. I hope you seriously consider our requests. They will greatly benefit employees when a time that they need it the most. Thank you so much for your time, and congratulations again.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you, Lauren. That concludes the public comment section of today's meeting. Moving into item 5, consent agenda. Board approval of the minutes for the called public hearing and regular meeting held June 15th, 2023. Members, that item was in your packets. Any corrections to the minutes from June as printed and distributed? Hearing none, they're approved as printed. Item 6, academic action items. Any members of the public who would like to address the board regarding the academic action items posted? Hearing none. Item A, considering a school district teaching permit for Kayla Baker to teach career and technical education courses in health science and law and public safety certified by the superintendent, Dr. Rollo.
Yes, so as you guys are well aware, our District of Innovation Plan allows us to approve district teaching permits for CTE courses. And so I have 3 of these to present to you today. The first one is Mrs. Baker, and she holds a bachelor's in psychology and currently serves as a combat medic in the Army Reserves. And she will be teaching courses in CTE around health science and law enforcement.
Members, you've heard the explanation. Any questions? If not, do I have a motion to approve issuing the school district teaching permit for Kayla Baker?
So move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Consider issuing a school district teaching permit for Spencer Henry to teach career and technical education courses in health science technology, certified by the superintendent, Dr. Rollo.
Yes, so Spencer Henry, we are asking for you to approve him to be an EMT instructor for Lubbock ISD, and he is a certified EMT and has served in this field for 14 years.
All right. Members, you have heard the explanation. Does anyone have any questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve issuing the school district teaching permit for Spencer Henry?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Consider issuing a school district teaching permit for Danielle Kitchens to teach career and technical education courses in business, marketing, and finance, certified by the superintendent.
Yes, so this would be for Danielle Kitchens to teach middle school CTE courses in business and finance, and she has over 10 years of experience with Enterprise Holdings.
Members, you have heard the explanation. Are there any questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve issuing a school district teaching permit for Danielle Kitchens?
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 7, procurement and contracts. Any members of the public who'd like to address the board regarding any of the procurement and contract items posted? Seeing none, we'll move into item A, approval of district purchases. Mr. Rodriguez.
Morning, Board of Trustees. Mr. Brady, thank you. So we have 3 items for you to consider this morning, all regular items that we have brought to you in the past. The first one is for College Board. This is a not-to-exceeds number. These are tests that we issue for different levels of kids for National Merit Scholarship programs. And this is a cost estimate. Like I said, it's a not-to-exceeds number. We are going to see some savings in this. In the past, they've been paper exams, and so we've been charged whether we use the exams or not. College Board is now moving to digital online testing, and so if we don't use the tests that we ask for, then we will not be charged. So we'll only be invoiced for the actual tests that are taken. So that's that first one. The second one is for printing overages. We saw a spike in ProColor usage at the beginning of the year. We put some things in place, hoping that we could avoid having the overage. We did not, and so this is just to pay for that overage in our printing costs. We've not seen, since we put those pieces in place, the overage occur again, so we don't anticipate this being an issue again. And then the last one is for iStation, and it's for district-wide PK reading intervention for our students, and it's an annual item.
Members, you've heard the explanation. Are there any questions? Hearing none, do I have a collective motion to approve the purchase as presented?
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item B, approval of district contract renewals. Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Brady. Again, some items that we typically bring to you. Our first one is for software called KickUp. This is our software that we're using to track evaluations as well as professional learning portfolios. We're going to use title funds to pay for that software. And we've had it. This is a renewal, of course. Also our TASB risk management for general liability, vehicle liability renewal is on there as well. We have our annual Texas Tech purchase, our partnership with K-12 Global Education Outreach, affects all our students. And we've had this relationship with Texas Tech, specifically the International Cultural Center, for over 15 years. So it's just an annual item that we bring to you. And they've not increased this in many, many, many years, so we're pleased with getting the opportunity to partner with them again. And then our annual Region 17 service fees there, and you see what those are for.
Members, you've heard the explanation. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, do I have a collective motion to approve the contract renewals?
So move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item C, approval of district construction purchase. Brother Rodriguez.
Yes, sir. We only have one item for you to consider this morning. It's for professional fees and agricem. It's an adjustment for our fees as a result of the project cost increase.
Members, you've heard the explanation, details in your packet. Questions? I have a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Moving into item 8, workshop 2023-2024 board meeting schedule and workshop topics. Dr. Rollo.
Yes, so in your folder, you have a copy of our draft meeting schedule for next year. This is a little bit similar to this year in that we have some meetings that are combined, and that's because of our participation in Holdsworth and our team needing to be out several weeks for that next school year. So I just wanted to get feedback to see if there's any changes you want to make to the, number one, the schedule, and then number two, you have a sheet that has workshop topics that we have done over the last 2 years. And then we actually had Beth send in some suggestions
That a
for
girl.
workshop topics for next year. So I wanted to give feedback to see if there's anything that you guys specifically want us to get scheduled. We've talked about the August 10th workshop and having a focus on our professional development department and everything we have planned for the upcoming school year with our new teacher work as well as what we do with our teacher leaders on campuses. So that's what we're thinking for the August 10th meeting. But for the future, I'd love to get feedback from you on what you guys would like to see, in addition to our normal routine things that we do.
Comments. I think I think this is a good chance to just kind of talk about it, brainstorm a little bit, or we can. I mean, I guess we can tweak the workshop stuff as the year goes on
We
as well,
can,
right?
absolutely.
Anybody have any feedback right now
I just like to get back to the schools for some of the
Okay.
meetings.
in terms of location?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
love
I
to
think
do
it,
that
it gives us an opportunity to, especially the ones that maybe were never on the rotation or, stopped once COVID hit. But I love, on Beth's deal, Durham, Sodexo, the capital needs for the bond.
Me too.
Okay.
And then I'll just say, I appreciate this year. I felt like we went deeper and had less where people didn't feel like they were getting cut off or they were preparing and we didn't have time for them. And so it seemed like we limited it to 2 topics or so, or 3 topics. And I appreciated that. I can't speak for everybody, but
And our presenters did a much better job of not reading us PowerPoints, right? I mean, we do the prep, and I think those presentations were more meaningful because people shared on a more substantive basis. And I want to acknowledge the work that you and your team did and that our presenters did. I mean, you guys can tell them that that's what we like, but they followed through, and I have noticed that, and I do appreciate that. My thought on Beth's comments, first on Beth's possible topics, I agree with Ryan's comments. One thing I would ask for Rick and you and y'all's folks to think about is, should something like Durham and Sodexo, do those need to be at the same time so that we don't have, or do those need to be separate? I remember, I think relatively recently, we went out to Sodexo a couple of years ago.
Yes.
I thought that was valuable as well, and it may be that it's time to do that again. And so, anyway, those are kind of my top of the head thoughts on these topics.
Yeah, I'm thinking going to Durham is a good one there.
A trip to the bus barn.
And this is just a random question for me. Is that where we keep our coaches? the buses that we get on our big
Oh,
buses?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I saw it.
That was the athletic coach.
I thought,
I was thinking that kind of coach too.
I wasn't sure where he was.
I was thinking, I thought they were at the field house.
Yeah.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
We keep them there at the bus barn.
All right. So yeah, I never knew that. So
Yes.
that's why I'm asking.
That's on purpose.
Yeah.
We didn't want you.
So we can go out there and check that out.
Yes, sir.
especially Since we
Happy
got
to.
the big bright brand new one.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Happy to do that.
Okay.
Well, with your permission, we'll come up with a schedule for the year that certainly is flexible. We can make adjustments throughout the year as we need to for workshop topics.
You
Are
bet.
we okay with the calendar?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. The other thing that I'll point out, and we had Lauren touched on this. I think it's important in terms of our planning for the year. You know, there is going to be, or at least there's a strong possibility there's going to be some impact on our ability to do a compensation package mid-year. And I mean, you're talking about a potential November decision on teacher pay and school funding enhancement that might not happen until December or January. And that's something that none of us in this room, certainly not in our current positions, have dealt with before. I can't remember happening during the years I've been following school policy in this state.
No.
So that's going to be something that we're just going to have to be flexible on and work together to figure out.
Yes, sir.
And that's all I know to tell you about that. Okay, anything else on that topic?
No.
All right, moving into workshop item B, communications and community relations update. Aaron Gregg, Executive Director of Communications and Community Relations, is headed up to the podium to give us an update about her shop.
Well, hello again. Good morning, and like I said earlier, it's always a pleasure to be here to speak to the board. I only get to do this about once a year, and since the last time I was here, we've had a few changes, and so wanted to give you a few updates on what we have done related to board goals, and then some news about our new website, mobile app, and notification system. And there are a few faces too, and so since the last time I was here, you may have seen Sydney. She actually is new to our office. She started this spring. She's our new communications coordinator. And we also have Juliana Workman, who is a tech intern that works in our office. And so we got new photos taken. Aren't those great? Shannon took those. And so you can see everybody's faces because not all of them were here this morning. I know that generally you know what we do, but I like this slide because I think it shows that we wear a lot of different hats and that we do a lot of different things. And all of it happens sometimes in one day and sometimes we spread it out, but it keeps things interesting in the communications office. And so I just keep it up there so that you have something to refer to. So on the board goals, there are a couple of these that refer specifically to communications and community relations. One of them changed, actually, the number of active PTAs. That one's been updated, and that one's about attendance at campus events, which is not really in our wheelhouse anymore. But the very first one, about increasing active community partners, then increasing annual donations to the Foundation for Excellence, and also participation in the Community Partnership Forum and our superintendent roundtables. I have updates on each one of those. So I gave you just a 3-year overview on some of these numbers. And so when we started in 2021, we had 286. Now in our last count in 2023, we have 346. We actually know that it's more than that. Part of our challenge is sometimes campuses have established relationships, and we're working on a better system to gather that information so that we can provide appropriate recognition, invite them to the Community Partnership Forum and things like that. So we think it's probably closer to 400, but as far as what we have in our system, we're over 300. So we're excited about that, and we're thankful to have so many community partners that support our campuses and what we're doing in Lubbock ISD. Did I skip one? Oh, nope. On the Foundation for Excellence Golf Tournament, we've had a record-breaking year in 2023. You can see that this year, the golf tournament raised $171,923. You may wonder why there's such a significant jump from 2022 to 2023. It's really a great problem to have. We're selling out the tournament, and we've offered a new thing called Gift Don't Golf, where you can sponsor and have recognition, but you don't actually have a golf team. And we're going to continue expanding that because this year is the first year the Foundation for Excellence will be offering scholarships. And we're excited about that. And our very first one is the Doyle Vogler Memorial Scholarship. And they're working on that right now, and there'll be significant amounts. And so we're thankful to our FFE board for working that out for us. And this year we've had an online donation link. And so you can actually go onto our website, it looks way better on our new website, and donate online. And so if there's a particular program or scholarship that you want to donate to, you can do it with your debit or credit card instead of having to take a check to the office or, cash or whatever that looks like. The Community Partnership Forum, some of y'all were there, was on February 8th at the McKenzie-Merkin Alumni Center. We made some pretty significant changes to the Community Partnership Forum. The increase in attendance over the year before was about 6%, and so we were happy to have an increase. We think the new location is wonderful. We like the new format. You can see we had some cheerleaders there to get people excited on their way out the door. So we'll keep some of those things and make a few adjustments, and I think it may already be on the maybe on your calendar for next February, and we're excited about that because we think the changes have been positive. We got a lot of good feedback, and our speaker next year is actually Scott Milder with Friends of Texas Public Schools. So it should be a great event in 2024 as well. Our superintendent roundtables, Dr. Earl, I don't know what you think, but we think they were a great success in the past. If you've attended, they've been at Plains Capitol Park in the community room, and we did something different this year because we were struggling with attendance. We actually engaged some community hosts who hosted us at their facilities and lunch, and that actually resulted in more than a 50% increase in attendance at those events. And so those are a few of our partners that we got to go to their spaces, and they were gracious hosts, and we had great turnout at those, and we're going to keep doing that. We're working on that right now for the 2023-2024 school year. We started a community leadership academy, and so this was part of really just trying to continue building ambassadors and advocates for Lubbock ISD. We had 21 participants in the first cohort, and we had 9 sessions, and every month we took them around the district to learn about programs and visit campuses. And several of them want to continue on, and we're looking at another program to sort of mix them and our ambassador graduates of staff members into a new program to continue that advocacy and ambassadorship, but we'll open the applications for next year in August. And really, what I think you probably are excited about most is we have a new website. If you haven't been there, you should check it out. If you haven't downloaded the app, you check that out too. But you may be wondering why we're doing this. When we came to you in February, I talked a little bit about it when the proposal was approved. But a couple of the reasons are, one, we were previously with Blackboard, and they underwent two, actually in the last year, corporate acquisitions. And the new company, Final Site, was going to force everyone to roll over into their new system. And so we thought, if we're going to have to roll over into a new system anyway, let's just see what's out there. We found Aptigee, which is who we've gone with. It has a much simpler interface, not only in updating the website, but also in the notification system and the mobile app. And we feel like it's going to make a huge impact on campus ability to be able to keep websites updated. That's a big challenge. And the previous system was very tedious and took a long time to even update a picture or a document. And so we've been really happy with the feedback on that. And then actually the communication tools are improved because it's helping us close some communication gaps. In the previous system, when we do our crisis or really issue communication about things that happen at facilities like a lockout or an evacuation, we've had no way to communicate with parents of students at the ATC, the VTC, PIA, et cetera, and the new system will allow us to bring those together, and so we will be able to provide that communication. The challenge is because the students at those facilities are tied to their home campus, and so we're excited that we'll be able to now close that gap because that's been a big concern, particularly the ATC was a big concern for us. So we have a brand new website, and I'll click over on it in a minute, but you can see that there. If you've been there, you've seen it. We have a new mobile app. It's actually now just Lubbock ISD. They updated the name since the old app is out of the store. There's a public-facing app, which is the Lubbock ISD app, and then the other app you see on the other side, the darker one, is ThrillShare, and that's actually the name of the platform that we manage the mobile app and the website and actually send notifications out of the app. And if you've ever seen the Blackboard app, you can see that this is much cleaner and much simpler, and it's much more easy. I can't think of another word to use, honestly. It's just so easy to send notifications through this system. This is the platform that we send alerts. It's super easy. In the past, whenever we're trying to have speedy communication, we have an evacuation, we'd have to log in, search for the principal, sign in as the principal, select all these things. Here, there's a drop down in the top right where it says Lubbock ISD. I drop down to the campus, and then we hit the buttons and send the messages. So it's going to help with the speed and accuracy and getting that done too. We're very excited about that. We'll do training for our administrators actually after the PEMS rollover later in July. One of the things that we're going to be piloting in our district is a two-way messaging tool. And I have a couple of screenshots here because I don't have a classroom because I'm not a teacher. And so the great thing about this is for classrooms that are using tools like Class Dojo or Remind, et cetera, and they're having to build their own lists, this system ties into our SIS. And so teachers don't have to build the list. It will automatically update students if they move campuses or move classrooms. They'll all be housed inside this platform. This view right here is if you were a teacher that taught multiple classes, you can see all your classes on that platform, and then there's a smaller screen is the mobile view of that. You can see material inside the classroom. It actually also syncs with Google Classroom. So for classes that are using that, that can be useful. You can see all your students there. You can give them points. You can, kind of like Class Dojo, you can add points, take away points, add comments, etc. And the really cool thing is it has a parent and teacher messaging system, also student. The great thing about this is administrators can select any teacher and see any communication that's happened between the teacher and a parent, et cetera. One of the coolest features about it is it has language translation. And so if a parent speaks Spanish and they type the message in Spanish, it translates to English when it goes back to the teacher and vice versa. So no matter whatever language they're typing it in, it'll translate back and forth. And so that will be a cool way to address some of those communication challenges, because we have more than 48 languages spoken in Lubbock ISD. I know Spanish and English, of course, are prominent, but we have a lot of other ones that sometimes we don't have anybody that speaks that language, and so this could be a cool tool for that. Before I go to questions, I'm going to go just really quick back to the district website. And so if you haven't been there yet, it's pretty similar as far as the menus go and you're looking for things. We've updated some pieces of it that are new in this particular system. One is the live feed. And so one of the greatest things about the alert system, or even just when you're posting on social media, is you can send an alert or a message. Say if you're sending a reminder about an event, you can send a text and an email, and you can also post on social media and all on your website at the same time. And that's what the live feed is.
Aaron?
Yes, sir.
First of all, this looks super clean,
Thank
and
you.
I'm really recognize that. I think that's a nice improvement. One thing I noticed as folks were moving to kind of next generation stuff is that stuff looks better, but that the search function may not be as robust, or at least it doesn't feel as robust. To maybe I'm just getting too old to know how to do a good search, but have you guys made sure that families will still be able to use the search function to find what they're looking for regardless of what's hitting them in the feed?
Yes. The main thing is when you first visit the website, we've kept everything at the top mostly the same.
Okay.
And so when you go to something like, there's the staff quick links is up here, registration, and we'll continue to change this. We're actually going to send a survey in August after folks have had some time to use it and get some feedback on the navigation, because we use some tools like Google Analytics and things like that to decide what was going to be the highest on the website, but that can always change. And so as far as the menus go at the top, when you visit, you can access gradebook, you can go to the staff links. That part has pretty much remained the same.
Great.
And we found all kinds of kinks that we've been working out. This actually rolled over the 4th of July holiday, while a lot of people were off, and we could iron out a few kinks without impacting a lot of people, but we still keep finding things. So that's the news and the live feed is a little bit new, and we have our calendar. And we have a cool section where we actually can put a lot of video, and so we have it synced to our YouTube channel. And so right now that you can see that's Teacher of the Year there. And then we have this really cool section, Apogee is actually using this as an example, that we're using a theme called Growing Graduates. And whenever you click on these pictures, where's the mouse? There it is. It brings up little videos about each one of these students who just graduated this year. So there's little highlights, and we'll continue updating this and expanding this throughout the year. And then we also have some highlights on the bottom. We've highlighted agriculture. If you ever get down this far on the website, you might not. But we have ag. We put some CTE stuff down here on the bottom, so you can see if you click through here, it'll link out to different things. And then we're about to start a little campaign on the new app, because it is a little different. This is actually the same app that a parent would use for the two-way communication tool. It's all in one place. It has login. You can log in with Google. They're adding Facebook. They're doing phone number. There's a lot of different options because I think one of the biggest challenges we have is we don't have updated email addresses and phone numbers many times. That's a challenge with getting messages out, and using an app is great because you don't have to have an updated phone number and you can just get a push notification. So we're excited about the new app. Y'all have any questions?
Questions?
I've got two things
Okay.
I wanted to bring up. First off, I think it's a testament to what's going on in Lubbock, and more specifically Lubbock ISD, that we're seeing a growing increase in partners in education. I can remember when those numbers were kind of going down or were stagnant, and so I think that that's really great, and it's even more encouraging to know that the numbers are probably higher than what are being reported. So kudos for that. And then secondly, regarding the communication platform / app, the app that we can have for the parents, I think the language barrier is a big thing oftentimes, and so I think that's a great thing. But my bigger concern would be, like, are we going to educate people on how to use the app or on how to use the communication platform? Because that would be the first barrier before even figuring out, hey, I can type it in, in Mandarin and it's going to be translated to English or whatever. And so I don't know what your plan is for that with regard to educating parents.
The great thing about Apogee is they've prepared all the materials for us. We've worked on a timeline, and we just met with them earlier this week about that. That has all kinds of training in easily digestible ways, because these are not meant to be we don't want the tools to be complicated because people won't use them. One of the things that has been my concern about the app, if you have to log into it, is the login. But we talked about that yesterday, and now that I know that there's all these different ways you can get in, and it's not a password that we have to reset, I think that's going to be a big help with keeping access. And once you're logged in, you don't have to log in again unless you log out for some reason. But yes, the short answer to your question is yes, we have a plan and materials.
We've talked about this before, and Kathy, this may be more for you than Aaron, but I would love for us to set a D-Day for every campus to where they have their leadership team updated, because I think sometimes, and I get it. Unfortunately, there's been maybe more changes than we want in a particular summer or whatever the case may be. But I think parents being able to identify by picture, by name, who the admin team is at their campus is a big deal. And so I know that's a large undertaking, and I don't know if that's on the principal, on communications, on whoever, but I think it's something that would help greatly.
Yeah, well, the new app does have photos, and we actually have spoken to some of the folks that do yearbook photos that are giving us access to those. And so we can go we're taking some staff photos, but if not, we'll be able to have photos of staff on the website. And that reminded me of something, but I lost my train of thought. But anyway, we're working on not just campuses, but also department photos. And either we can do that, or they can use a photographer or yearbook photographer or whatever, but we're working on adding photos so you can actually see the people.
And Erin, will you share about training, how we're training campus folks to keep their pages updated?
Yes, and so we've already done the website training. We did that earlier in the summer since the website rolled over, and we actually migrated the content so they'd have something to tool around with and work with in the training. So Shannon did all the training with Apogee. And so they've done, anybody who had access to a website, needed access to a website, has gone through that training. And that was principal designated or department designated who they wanted to update it. It's the same thing with the notification system. So we're still working out a few kinks in how it's bringing in the information. And we'll do the training for administrators or anyone that needs to send notifications, not next week, but the week after. And the Apogee training is very short because it's a simple system to use. In the past, they were going to 3 and 4 hours of training for website. It's about 45 minutes because there's just a few pieces. They have incredible customer support. There's an in-platform chat, and you can actually chat with someone in real time for customer service. And those are all pieces we think that are going to be significant to helping people feel more comfortable with the tools and be able to update things more often.
But Ryan, we can also monitor campus websites, and if we see something that's not up to date, we can intervene and make sure that they're taking care of that.
Yeah, we're doing that right now. And another thing we haven't been able to do that we can do now with this new website is if we have something that needs to go on every page, we can post on every page with a click of a button. In the past, we'd have to go to every individual website to add the content. And so if we wanted to add something about drive-through registration, for example, we can hit a button and we can select all campuses, and it will post as the main item on every website, which is cool.
If I just as a comment, I'd like to see the career success pathways just moved up a
little higher.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little higher. I would really want to. That's what we're about, right? Offering pathways to students. Just a comment.
Thank you.
The only thing I'll add as well, that we have to continue to strike that balance of certain key staff. She mentioned departments that we have to be careful about what we put on the websites because of potential phishing opportunities that they present to us. And so departments like payroll, you may see generic.
Yeah, I don't think,
Right.
I mean, what
Right.
I hear Mr. Curry talking about, and we're not concerned about that,
Right.
okay? We want parents to be able to know who their principals, their APs, their teachers, when they walk down the hall.
Yes,
We want
sir.
to be able to know who those folks are. Yeah, we get that.
Okay.
Beth, do you have something?
No, it looks great.
Thanks.
Anything else, guys?
Erin, do you want to share about drive-through registration?
Sure.
Do a plug for that.
Absolutely. So our 4th annual, if you can believe that, drive-through registration's on July 27th, which is coming up very soon. And actually this year it's at Monterey High School. We weren't sure with the construction and the Jay Gordon room being unavailable that we'd have the capacity here. And so we're doing it at Monterey.
Imagine backed up in the one lane on that too.
We have a great plan. There's a lot more space actually around Monterey to line cars up and keep them off of 50th and Indiana. But we have a lot of the same stuff. We'll have school supply donations from HEB and United. We have some other partners that are coming to bring highlighters and glue sticks and things like that. And we're still looking for volunteers, not volunteers, they're not volunteering, they're working, workers to come work shifts at drive-through registration. But we're excited. It's one of my favorite events because it's a great way for us to get some face-to-face with families.
So have we advertised that outside of our own network?
We've done a little bit. We actually are starting to push some stuff the end of this week. I've sent it to the media and things like that, but we're starting a social media campaign, and we have to. The problem with the notification system is everything in there right now is still 2022, 2023, and so we'll send like we've done before, and then we'll send again after it all rolls over into the new school year because it hasn't. They're working on that right now.
But you think your earned media will start next week on it? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm talking about it next week on the radio.
Okay, great. Good. Anything else? Aaron, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
you, Erin. And thanks to your team, too.
Thank you.
That brings us to item 9, executive session. The chair knows of no reason for an executive session. Dr. Rowell, do you have anything? No. Great. All right, item 11, adjournment. It is 8:06 a.m. and this meeting is adjourned.